What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. The Aftermath. Remember Dr. Dre had that album, The Aftermath? We're going to talk about the aftermath of Fury Wilder 3. And where does that leave both fighters after this epic third fight? Now, first of all, let me go and put this out there. You guys can comment in the comment section if you agree with me or disagree with me. But I still believe that Deontay Wilder is the number 2 heavyweight in the division. I believe that going into the fight, and I believe that after the fight. Now, I know people will argue that maybe Alexander Usyk, who holds 3 of the 4 major belts, is number 2, but I need to see a little bit more from Usyk. He beat AJ, but AJ been beat before. He beat Chaz Witherspoon. Witherspoon was washed at that point in time. He wasn't that good to begin with. You know, he got a lot done off his last name, actually. You know, he got knocked out by Chris Arreola early on in his career, so never was that good. He was a never was. You know, they got the wannabes and the never was and all that. He can fall in the category of the never was. Never was. Never was. You know, he beat Derek Chisora, but who ain't beat Derek Chisora? Derek Chisora is actually one of my favorite fighters. You know, he gonna always live in boxing infamy when he bitch slapped Vitaly Klitschko, who's now a politician, if I'm not mistaken. He a politician, or he running a state over there in the Ukraine or something. He's a politician. You know, he slapped the taste out that man's mouth, and then put up an epic performance, gave Vitaly Klitschko one of the toughest fights of his career. So he was at that Derek Chisora at that point probably was the best Derek Chisora. You know, that probably was the best version of Derek Chisora, that one that fought Vitaly Klitschko. Now, he did a good job in the Dillian White first and second fight. So those probably his 3 best performances are probably losses, actually. You know, but he's come up shorter than a midget on his knees in a lot of fights. He got 10 losses. You know, it is what it is, man. He beat him, and then he beat Anthony Joshua. But Anthony Joshua got beat by what was Andy Ruiz's line going into that fight with Anthony Joshua? You know, it wasn't like 46-1, you know, underdog like it was with Buster Douglas and Tyson, but he was a huge underdog. It had to be at least 20-25-1 underdog, you know, to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua got knocked out early. He got knocked down multiple times. He got beat from pillar to post. Never recovered from that shot. When he dropped Andy Ruiz, he got back up and went in for the kill. He got caught with a punch he didn't see and never recovered. So can't put him there. It's need to be a little bit more work that need to be done, starting with the rematch with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has shown that he performs better in a rematch than he did in the first fight. He makes the proper adjustment. We see what he do against Alexander Usyk. Now, Usyk is not going to come in there grossly out of shape like Andy Ruiz did in the second fight. That helped the cause of Anthony Joshua. I think he's going to come in peak condition, and he is a pound-for-pound fighter. So we're going to see how that plays out. I think Eddie Hearn, his promoter, said that fight's going to take place in March 2022. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. But as we stand right now, Deontay Wilder is the 2nd best heavyweight in the division. You know, he fell back into old habits. You know, he's one of them guys that is not a volume puncher. You know, he set a real breakneck pace in that first round, and that paid off in a negative way as the fight progressed. And he was able to basically wear down. And, you know, the stamina came into effect, man, because he's not used to throwing that many punches per round, and it came back to haunt him like a ghost. So it is what it is. Tyson Fury, I thought this version of Tyson Fury was probably B-, C+ performance, and he was still able to stop Deontay Wilder. And I think we obviously saw a better version of Tyson Fury in the second fight than he did in the third fight. But he still was a Tyson Fury, even in his third fight, that in my opinion would have beat Anthony Joshua. Would he ever beat Alexander Usyk? That would have been a real good fight. Maybe he probably would wore down Alexander Usyk like he did Otto Wallin. You know, he's a big guy. He knows how to use his weight advantage. You know, he had a 45-pound weight advantage over Wilder. Wilder came in at 239. He came in at 277. So that's basically, you know, that's basically a 37-pound advantage. Maybe a 38-pound advantage for Tyson Fury. So he knows how to use that. He knows how to lean on you, and he's pretty much the master that Klitschko. You know, I'm gonna lose my weight, and I'm gonna bend down on the back of your neck, and I'm gonna lean on you, and I'm gonna lean on you and lean on you, and then your legs gonna gonna definitely go away from that accumulation of me leaning on you. He does a good job. Klitschko mastered that style. You know, putting his chest right on behind your head, right up against your back, and that behind that back of the neck and back area, leaning on you and pretty much taking your legs away. You know, David Haye tried to do that with Vladimir Klitschko. He tried to just fall down. You know, as soon as Vladimir tried to lean on him, David Haye just went to the ground early on. I thought that was a good tactic. Many people thought, oh man, he's soft, he's going to the ground, all falling down. But he was doing that because he was trying to take away that what Klitschko does. He does a good job of leaning on his opponents, man, taking their legs away as the fight progresses. And David Haye was trying to nullify that. And Wilder, you know, he steady tried to fight back. But it's just a guy that's a better fighter, better overall fighter, just a bad stylistic matchup for Deontay Wilder. But I still believe that Deontay Wilder is the number 2 heavyweight in the division. I still believe that he knocks out Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is chinny chin. You know, he's chinny chin, man. He got a chandelier glass jaw, man. You know, Wilder catch him with that right hand, he going to sleep, man. There's no way he would have been able to take those punches. Now, would Wilder have fought that same way? Because, again, thing about AJ, once he get knocked out, it's pretty much a wrap. He ain't showed give him credit though. He did get up after the Vladimir Klitschko knockdown. He got up and then was able to close his show, but I thought that was more of Klitschko that put the foot on the gas, more than so than AJ survived. AJ, give him credit though. He survived. It ain't his fault that Vladimir ain't got no killer instinct. He didn't go in for the kill. So it ain't his fault that was the case. So he did what he had to do. So he had shown instinct to get up off the ground from that, but that's one thing. Get up off the getting knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko and then getting up after getting knocked down by, you know, the hardest puncher in heavyweight history. So that's a fight that's still intriguing to me. We'll see how it all plays out. Joshua first got to get his belt back. Wilder, he's got a lot of fighters he can fight over here in the PBC. PBC has a stable of heavyweights. You know, you got Prince Charles Martin, you got Andy Ruiz Jr., you got Robert Helenius. You got a lot of good fighters out of there over here, you know. You got a lot of good fighters on the step. You got Frank Sanchez. You know, I wouldn't probably put him in there with Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez is a great counterpuncher. You see what he did to Ajaba? Great counterpuncher. Great counterpuncher, man. I wouldn't probably put him in there with him, but you know, they got a bunch of guys he can fight. Charles Martin would be a good fight, but I'm hearing Charles Martin is gonna get the Andy Ruiz fight in December. That's what I'm hearing through my sources. But he's got a lot of good fighters over there, you know, a lot of good fighters. You know, Wilder done 2 co-promotions with top-ranking ESPN with the Fury situation. I mean, you know, maybe Bob Arum say, hey, you know, I got a fight for you. You know, a jobber. That could be a good comeback fight for Wilder. 2 guys that are right-handed dominant. You know that fight gonna be fireworks. That would be a good fight. F.A. Ajaba against Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder get a win on his belt and he right back in the mix. So maybe Arum can set him over some fights with a couple of heavyweights that he have. He got Ajaba. You know, well, I'm gonna tell you something though. While we talking about this fight, the undercard was good, man. Good fight with Helenius, man. Showed everybody that the first fight wasn't no fluke and basically dominated Kanaki in a more dominant fashion than the first fight. Kind of like what Fury did. Fury didn't dominate Wilder in a more dominant fashion in the second fight, but he pretty much showed everybody that the second fight wasn't no fluke. You know, some things that came involved in that fight with you know, manipulated gloves and spike ward and stuff like that played a part in Wilder losing that second fight. He pretty much put all that to the side because everything was on the up and up, and he still was able to put on a dominant performance and stop Wilder. Wilder's been stopped only 2 times in his career, and is at the hands of one man, Tyson Fury. So give credit where credit's due. And you look for him to face the winner of Dillian White, Otto Wallin. That's what it's set up. Now, they say, the WBC say he got 30 days to negotiate a unification fight with, for Undisputed actually, with WBA, IBF, and WBO champion Alexander Usyk. But Eddie Hearn, who's a guy that, you know, he got a good feel of the room. He basically put this out there right during the fight or right before the fight that after Josh has exercised his rematch clause with Alexander Usyk. So that's going to be the fight next. So Fury is going to have to fight the winner of White Wallin. And I hope it's White. I want to see something new. I don't want to see Fury and Wallin too. I think Wallin is a good fighter, man, but he can't beat Fury. Fury is just a better boxer. Both guys are good boxers, but Fury is just a bigger guy, man. He'll do the same thing he did in that first fight. He probably do it in a bit more dominant fashion now. Now that he's fighting under the tutelage of Manuel Stewart's nephew. You know, so he's much more aggressive now. So I don't see that fight playing out too much different. Wilding don't have the power to hurt Fury. Now he busted up Fury. Now he did bust him up. Now you gotta give credit where credit's due. He did bust up Fury. So he has shown that he can hurt Fury. Make no mistake about that. He's shown he can hurt Fury, but that was more of a, he cut him and then he hit him on that eye in that 12th round. I think that punch to the eye was more of a, had effect on Fury than just his devastating power of Wilding. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. Fury didn't sound too confident in white chances going into the Wilder third fight. He basically said Wilding gonna teach Dillian Whyte the art of boxing. Basically, he's gonna outbox him and he's gonna beat him in a sound and basically give him a boxing lesson. Basically, what Fury said. He says he sees Wilding beating him, man, beating him. He don't think Dillian Whyte is much of a boxer. That's basically what he said. He think Wilding is gonna outbox him and en route to a unanimous decision win, comfortable unanimous decision win at that. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. I'm pulling for the can, man, because I want to see something different. I want to see Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. I already know how Fury versus Wilding gonna play out. Not to say I believe Whyte gonna beat Fury, but I just want to see a different stylistic matchup. I know Dillian Whyte, he gonna bring the heat. He ain't got much of a chin either. He chin just like Anthony Joshua. So I'm looking for Fury probably to knock him out too. But I think he gonna put up a bigger fight. He got a great left hook to the body. He got a decent jab. You know, he's one of them workman-like type of fighters, man. Workman-like type of fighters, man. Good jab. And he's got better and better throughout his career. He's a much better fighter than he was when he fought Anthony Joshua. When both of those guys were basically coming up through the heavyweight ranks. Neither one of those guys had a belt at that time. That was a great fight, though. So we will see what happens, and we will damn sure see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts about Deontay Wilder. Where do you think he goes from here? Let me know your thoughts about who would you like to see Fury fight next. Do you either want to see him fight Otto Wallin in a rematch, or do you want to see him fight Dillian Whyte? We can go and say that it's not going to be Alexander Usyk. We're going to set that to the side. That's not going to be the next fight, despite what the WBC ordered. As they can have a 30-day to negotiate a fight between Fury and Usyk. That's not going to happen. Like I stated earlier, Eddie Hearn has exercised his rematch clause, and he will be fighting. Alexander Usyk next. Let me know your thoughts and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I holla.